My not being tech savvy is really, really starting to show here. So I tried to be organized and set up a timer for today at 6 o'clock. And I guess that didn't work. I had to reach out to one of my friends and ask if they received a notification. And she told me she got a notification that I was going live at 3:28. So even though for me it said 6 p.m., somehow I managed to screw that up. It looks like there's no one here. Ah, there's one person here. Hello, one person. How are you? I'm Tina, and this is the news that didn't make the news. I have started a side project with Chris Jolly and Chris Jolly. I met Chris Jolly in 2017 in LA, and I had a feeling we were supposed to do something in broadcasting, and I did tell him that the very first 5 minutes that I met him. So fast forward to now, 7 years later, he reached out to me about doing a show because of the particular content that we're discussing. It's not on Facebook, nor is he on Facebook. Okay. And hopefully, oh, hello, Herman. How are you? Long time no talk, a couple of hours at least, right? So, Chris Jolly and I met in 2017. We decided almost instantly we were meant to do something in broadcasting. Fast forward to, oh, hola. Hola, ¿qué pasa? We decided we were going to do something in broadcasting together. So that was many, many years ago. And we're just now getting around to that other, or for me, it's another side project. So if you are on Rumble, which I got on Rumble just so I could do this with him, the content is not, it's going to get flagged. It's going to be an issue for YouTube. So yeah, so anyway, we're doing that on Rumble. The channel is called A New Earth Network. And what we're doing is broadcast for the liberation of planet Earth. And again, that's on Rumble if you want to check it out. We just started doing it. We're only 2 episodes deep. We're talking about Russia and the Ukraine and what our take is it on it and some of the insider information that comes with that. So that's very, very cool project to start with Chris after knowing him for so long. We haven't always kept in touch. And it's a funny story because I moved to LA and I think I will end up making a video specifically about moving to LA because that was such a trip. And I think most of the people following me now are not aware of that whole story, why I went to LA, how I ended up in LA, and what ended up happening. But the situation in LA got extremely rough and extremely uncomfortable. And Chris just said, you know, why don't you come to Tijuana for the weekend? And I ended up staying there for 8 weeks without a passport. And that's one of the reasons why this particular episode is called Ordering from the Universe. Are you ready? So I went to Tijuana to visit Chris, and that didn't bode well with the other person that I was living with. So I ended up living in Tijuana for 8 weeks before I traveled back to I went to Kansas City, and then I went back to Ohio from there. So Chris Jolly and I are doing a broadcast called Broadcast for Liberation of Planet Earth, and it's called, the name of the channel is A New Earth Network. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember. We're just 2 shows in. And him and I decided just on a fluke to make relationship videos while we were living together in Tijuana. I'm not sure if Chris still has that channel up on YouTube or not, but it was funny because it did gain an incredible lot of momentum in just a couple of weeks. It was very interesting. So, I do tap into the audience. So hopefully you are not shy. I know there's only one person watching, but I also tap into the collective and people that may be online as well. So that's how that goes. So, ordering from the catalog of the universe. How is your manifestation going at the moment? Mine is going really, really super well in most regards. But we have to remember when we're ordering from the universe that there are some things that we've set up for ourselves prior to coming in here. So, like a pre-order or maybe back order, however you want to look at that, for this particular end of the cycle, what did we pre-order? So you might want to think about that. The reason I'm talking about the pre-order prior to your incarnation at the end of this cycle is because those things that we put on pre-order are coming in to fruition now, and that's a really big deal for us. People show up in the perfect time in your life energetically. I'm going to say it again because I think it's so important. Energetically, people show up in your life at the exact perfect moment for you. In 3D, it may feel like the worst time. You may feel like you're not ready for what you ordered prior to coming in here. Not only may you feel not ready, you also may feel like it's too late. You're already in other situations. Yeah, so there's all kinds of things that come into play. But what is showing up for us in every aspect of our life does have something to do with our now creator ability of manifestation, but it also has to do with things that we've chosen beforehand. So it feels like the worst time. It feels like an incredibly horrible time for this gift to show up. But remember that these are gifts. So people show up not when it's convenient for you, okay? People show up to match your energy. People show up for you to match your specific frequency. So while it doesn't feel like or look like a good time in the third dimension for this particular thing to show up or even reappear from many past lifetimes, it's showing up because you're an energy match and you're a frequency match. It's not showing up because your life is in alignment. In fact, the whole point of this is that you get into alignment with your true self, your true frequency, and your true energy match. Because again, it may look like a horrible time for this particular gift to show up, but your guides, your ancestors, your higher self, your whole team that's assisting you and supporting you and bringing to you momentum want you to realize that these changes that your soul is asking you to make are not only gifts, they are a frequency match to your new direction. So when it seems uncomfortable in the third dimension, just keep in mind that your frequency has put out a certain thing. You're in an energetic signature wants to match what you have the ability to create. And that is being in the energy of creating your best life, what your heart wants and what your soul wants, not what your 3D life wants, probably not what your 3D job would like for it to show up for you, or maybe even your third dimensional partner doesn't appreciate it showing up for you. And probably many of you are uncomfortable and feel not ready or like it's too late for this person, place, or thing to show up. But again, the universe knows it's a gift, and the universe does not care what your 3D life looks like. The universe cares what your energetic signature is and what your soul is putting out that you've always, always wanted. I'm not saying that it's not a struggle. Trust me when I say that I understand the struggle full well. What I've decided to do, other than like the announcements that I make here, is to not have a script. I've been talking about that for a little while. Higher Self does not want me to have a script. They want me to match the energy in my field. They want me to match the energy in my soul, and they want me to match the energy that's coming into the universe that is shifting our soul's alignment and pushing us to change our 3D reality to match our heart and our soul. That's why all this energy is coming in. It is cyclical. There are certain things that happen at certain times, and there are a lot of things that come into play with this. But if you have a particular uncomfortability in your 3D reality, it's because you are not listening to your heart and you are not listening to your soul. So again, be advised that there will be pressure on those things in your 3D life until you make those changes. Now, what I've been doing for the last several videos is just going to higher self, ancestors, the universe, and pulling a couple of tarot cards and asking specifically, what do you want me to talk about? I pull those cards. I put those cards on the table. I'm never going to advertise this as a tarot reading because I see what those tarot readers go through, and it's not always fun or glamorous. But that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling those cards when I ask what needs to happen here right now with you and I together. What needs to happen? What needs to happen with the group consciousness? What needs to happen? What do people need to hear that are online right now? So that's what I'm doing. I pull those cards, I put those cards on the table, I walk away, I finish getting ready to do the video. I don't think about what I'm going to say. I just channel whatever needs to come through. So the first message from the universe, from our higher selves as a group on this first wave of ascension, meaning the more advanced or more ready to jump into soul alignment group that is online right now. That's who I'm channeling for. And the first thing that we all really, really want you to know in this very moment of now is the importance and the strength of being in the moment of now, in the moment of now, taking every single thing as it comes to you. And when you are in that moment of now, really allow yourself, like me, to channel what your intuition, broad spectrum, wants you to know. So what does my intuition want me to know? What does my intuition want you to know? And a lot of times we get feedback, we get information from higher self and from all these outside sources as well. And we're also at a point where we're being activated within our DNA to speak certain things, to make certain changes. And so as a whole, higher self is asking our group to really channel your intuition, which I think most of you are doing. But the important thing here is not just channeling it, It's using it, right? I can sit down and draw a picture, but am I going to finish the job? Am I going to color it? Am I going to frame it? Am I going to bring it to life? So higher self is asking you, what is coming through in your intuition that really, really wants to change and maneuver around the energies and the things, people, places, and things that are coming into your life right now? How can you use those intuitive messages to really propel yourself into alignment with what your heart and what your soul wants for you and for your life? So that's the first message. Allow your intuition to guide you on this beautiful path. We are creators with a purpose. We came here with a purpose for self-fulfillment, self-happiness, self-love, and self-joy. But we also need to use that intuition very specifically in our lives to change that. The second message that's coming through for you right now is to really go within your intuition and shed light on anything that is part of your upbringing or anything that is part of your learning. What have I been taught by outside religious leaders? What have I been taught by institutionalized religion? What have I been taught by the indoctrinated education system? What have I been taught by my parents? Again, what have I been taught by the hierophant, the hierarchy that is outside of me? Because now we're jumping into the place where I am the hierophant, okay? I need to be the hierophant and you need to be the hierophant. And so higher self is really asking for all of us to shed light on, let the sunlight flow into and beam down on what it is specifically that you need to take a look at that's come from an outside source that we were taught is higher or more important or more educated or more self-sustaining than our own feeling in our heart and in our soul. Shed light on that, because nothing outside of me is more important than the way I feel. Nothing outside of what I've learned is more important than the way I feel. And that's across the board. So really, we're being asked to shine the light on anything outside of ourselves that we've been taught by anyone that is not serving the highest good of our own soul and this planetary liberation. The last message that I want to channel through for you today is this. We've put a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of work and a lot of effort into carrying around things that we don't necessarily want. We've put a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort into carrying around things that we no longer need. And we put a lot of time and a lot of effort into carrying around things that other people wish for us to carry. It's not a burden that we ourselves wish to carry. And higher self wants you to free yourself from carrying any burden in your life. It's so important in this time when everything is changing within our body, within our soul, within the expanded consciousness, within the expanded heart space, that we're not carrying around anything that feels like a burden to us. Now, that heads right into the next message, which is about restriction and obsession. Restriction is never, ever a healthy thing. And it kind of goes back to the first two messages here. If you are feeling in your life or in your heart and soul like you are restricted, it's because you're not listening to your intuition. It's because you're not working with the gifts. You're not working with the people, places, and things that God or source or universe or your ancestors have given you this gift. If you're not working with this gift that you're getting, you're going to be in the energy of restriction. It's so important not to restrict ourselves. When we restrict ourselves, we shut down or close off partially and maybe even fully for some of you, our heart space. And our heart space is where everything is coming in, where everything wants to expand. And our consciousness has a really hard time expanding if we are not open to the energetic newness, to the energetic gifts that are wanting so bravely to come into our lives at this time. So the energy of restriction never feels good. So when you are restricting yourself from something that you want to do, when you are restricting yourself from a change that you want to make, you're restricting yourself from words you want to say to people. There's all these different restrictions we put on ourselves. Now, I'm not condoning anything outside the heart space, like being mean to people or talking down to people. It's quite the opposite. What I'm saying is, if there's something that you really need to do, there's someone that you really need to be with, there's something that you really need to say to someone, higher self is asking you to say those words, to do those things, to reunite with those people. Because the energy of restriction, again, it shuts down the heart space. It shuts off our expanded consciousness. And I know sometimes people look at what other people write or what other people say or the videos that other people make, and we're like, why is that person in a place that I haven't reached yet? Or why does that person seem to have more clarity than me? And I can guarantee you this, there's one answer. They are not holding themselves back. They are not restricting themselves in their life. And that's why, as the first wave, all of this energy and this information and these DNA activations, they're all coming through to all of us at the exact same time. So how do I know something that someone else doesn't know? Again, it's because I'm not restricting myself. Well, I can't say I'm not restricting myself, because there are things that I would like to say to people very much right now that I'm not saying. And I'm sometimes using this public outlet. And I notice if I don't say that thing to that person directly, it is coming out in the video. And if any of my friends actually watch my videos, they might know that certain things are very much directed to them, because I can't handle it in my heart space to be restricted. So if I'm physically unable to reach out to you for whatever reason and say it to you, it's going to come out in this format. Now, the other thing about restriction is obsession. And obsession is not necessarily a negative thing. Like, people look at the devil card and the tarot, oh my gosh, it's the energy of the devil. No, it's the energy of you restricting yourself. It's the energy of you having obsessive thoughts, obsessive feelings, that you just feel, they're obsessive. You can't control those things. So higher self is asking you, why am I obsessing over this person, place, or thing? Is it because there's something that is on my mind that I really need to say? Is it because there's something in my heart that I really need to do? Is it because there's something or someone in my life that I want to move towards, but I'm restricting myself? So again, higher self asked me just to reiterate the fact that if in your mind or in your heart you are energetically experiencing some kind of obsessive behavior. Is that a negative behavior? Is that a bad behavior? No. Most likely, the reason higher self says that so many people are in this obsessive energy right now is because there's something they really need to say. There's something they really need to do. There's someone they really need to kiss. There is some underlining energetic thing that your heart and soul are trying so hard to push you towards, to push you into, to invite you to open up your heart space, for you to not only open up your heart space and your heart chakra, but open up your throat chakra and speak your truth. Because if you don't, and if you continue to put yourself in this energy of restriction and this, it keeps coming out as an obsession, and it will keep coming out as an obsession until you deal with the fact that there is something that you want so badly that you can almost taste it, but yet you're not taking a chance on it. You're not moving towards it. You're not speaking about it. You're burying it, burying it, and burying it. Again, it can shut down the heart space. It can really stop the progression of the throat chakra. And these DNA activations are going up and down the line of the chakras, constantly realigning, constantly rematching what you've got going on in here with the energy coming in from the universe. So important. If you're not going after it, if you're not speaking about it, if you are repressing how you really feel and what you really want to say and what you really want to do, that's where this obsession comes in. The last message that and I'm guilty of this too. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Again, I've said, if I cannot express something in my outward life to someone for some reason, I rewatch all my videos. I've been doing this from day one because as a Scorpio, there is nobody that's going to be a harsher critic on myself and look at what I need to work on. What do I do that I don't want to do anymore? And in doing that, I notice that if I have a certain message for someone and I'm unable to speak it, or I'm unable to do what I feel in my heart and soul that I want to do with that other person or towards that other person, it's coming out here. Also, I'm tapping into you guys, and I know that there are not a whole lot of people watching, but I'm still, again, tapping into the energy of you and I, and tapping into the energy of the collective as well. The last message that I got, I pulled two cards and they were both pages, and I don't really feel like it's necessary to tell you exactly what those cards are, but I put my hand on the card and it almost wants energetically to go back and connect with the last message, because a page is someone that has a message. Every page in the entire tarot deck has a kind of message. And so higher self is saying, this is a message for you. Do you have a message for someone else? Are you restricting yourselves? Are you obsessing over something else? Are you obsessing over the message? Are you obsessing over how you're going to present the message? Are you obsessing over how the other person's going to receive the message? You have a message to deliver. There's two pages sitting right in front of me. There's two people that have messages that want to speak that are not saying a word. And so that is the last message from higher self. Remember, the page is always the messenger. Not only is the page a messenger, the page is always a beginning of taking a new direction, which ties in with everything else I've said. Is there something in your life that wants a new direction and you're disallowing it? Are you burying it? Is it coming out later as an obsession? Because pages are not only about messages, most specifically, they're about, wow, what am I doing right now that needs to go into a direction that's different from now? What is coming through from my heart? What's coming through from my soul right now that wants to take a different direction, that wants to gain more clarity, that wants to have a passionate new beginning, that wants to step into life's mission or life's work? And that's why I'm here. Even though it's hard for me to speak in front of the camera, I'm doing that because communication is my life's mission. Using my voice is my life's mission. So again, we have 2 pages here just specifically because we're being asked, what message do you have for the world that you're not giving, that you're not putting out there? What message do you have for yourself? What message do you have for your loved ones that you're not putting out there? And what is it about your direction for people, places, and things, jobs across the board? What new direction does your heart and soul want that you are denying yourself? And that's what higher self wants you to ask yourself. What wants to come through my heart and my soul that I am disengaging from? What am I burying in my heart and soul that's causing an obsession to happen in my brain, in my thoughts, in my mental clarity? What do I need to speak? What do I need to do? Who do I need to be with? How do I need to love? What do I need to change? Everything across the board. Not easy to do. I understand that. And this is not easy for me to do either, but I'm still doing it. I'm still talking to you, regardless of the ease. I'm still here. I'm still doing it. I'm still putting out into the world what it is that's in my heart and in my soul, even when it's uncomfortable to do so. Even when it feels overbearing to do so. And the whole thing about obsession coming up is almost hilarious to me because I have been going through this extreme obsession too. And, I didn't really understand why I was going through it. Looking at it from a 3D perspective, oh, there's a bunch of things I want to say. There's a bunch of things I want to do, and I'm not doing those things. Okay. So, but I didn't really understand until I asked, okay, let's have everything from higher self, from ancestors, from the universe that wants to come in for our wave. Let it come through. And that came through, the understanding of where those obsessions are coming from. Get in touch with yourself. Be in alignment with yourself, with your heart space. It's a beautiful place to be. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always listening to me. Thank you for giving your love and your support to me. I very much appreciate it. It is the momentum. It is the inspiration that is liberating me from my shy self and moving into my communicative self. Okay? So I very much appreciate that. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys sharing. This is going to get out there. My messages are going to get out there, and I know how important it is for me to get the message out there. Thank you for being here. I love you. Bye.